Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is my first update for Project Focus Mini Makeup. I have done an intro for this project, so if you haven't seen that already, I shall link it for you. So this project is about my mini makeup items, whether they're minis, travel size or samples. So yeah, it's about focusing in on something and seeing how I'm doing, coming to realizations, making aims, you know, all things good like that. So very quickly, Project Focus was set up because I did project planning last year. Whilst project planning was amazing, I wanted to create something that was a little less anxious for me this year. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself by doing projects that I feel like I need to finish things. A little bit about me. So the reason I feel like that is not because of pressure that anyone's put on me or the project itself. So I did choose to do that project. I was invited by the lovely Nikki Pearson and I did the project with the other ladies. I did enjoy it, don't get me wrong. But I have anxiety issues and I did get anxious at times for the pressure of having to finish things. I found that quite difficult at times. I did have a difficult year, so I suppose there is that element of, you know, I was low and perhaps that's why I felt the way I did quite so much. But I have OCD traits. I wasn't diagnosed, but I was told that I have the traits a few years ago now. But my son was diagnosed with Asperger's last year, autism, and when he was diagnosed they wanted to look into the rest of the family. They do believe that most of the people in my house now, me included, have autism. They think I have Asperger's too, so I have been the first member of the family now to be referred for diagnosis. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. I'm happy with that. I've always had issues with colour and hoarding, so if I like the feel or touch of something or the way it works or the, you know, I tend to buy it in every colour there is. So I've always had issues with how much I've got of things that involve colour. So that could be clothes, shoes, bags, makeup, it can be jewellery, it can be things to do with crafts as well, balls of wool, paints. You get the gist of what I'm trying to tell you. So obviously having to finish items is difficult for me, and I wanted to create something that was like the halfway mark, that wasn't so pressurized for me. And that's not because anyone's ever put any pressure on me, it's because of the pressure I feel myself, because of the problems that I have. So yeah, this feels like a halfway sort of step to project planning. It's a bit lighter than project planning, but it's going to help me mentally. So what triggered me thinking about doing something was, I can't remember for what reason, but something made me think at the back end of last year, my collection is so huge, how many eyeshadow palettes do I actually own? And with my partner's help, I counted them, and it was more than I thought, and it was more than he thought. We did realise, my partner felt that I was not oblivious to how much I got. He felt that I knew I had a big collection, but he really did think I didn't understand the extent of it. But his number wasn't near how much I have with eyeshadow palettes, and it just made me realise so much about so many things. Once I'd made that step with the one thing that I had too much of, it then made me start evaluating other things. So I'm not going to be too hard on myself this year, but I do want to make improvements, and I do want to start understanding lots more than just my eyeshadow collection. So here I am with this project. So this project was designed to ultimately pay attention to all of what's coming in and out of my mini makeup collection. It's so easy to receive them from subscription boxes, from orders as freebies, to order them from Feel Unique, poke them in places and forget about them. They're a great idea from these sample places, but then I put them away and I forget about them because they're poked into tiny gaps everywhere. and that's just no good. I just wasn't doing enough with them, so I thought, you know what, this is something that needs a bit of a focus. So Project Focus isn't always going to be about makeup or beauty products. It might be because I want to save money. It could be anything. It's about focusing on things in my life rather than it being about beauty as such. So I started last month with 276 items. That's right. So I pulled together all of my minis, travel size and samples from my collection, put them all together in a big box, which I showed in my intro video. Counted them all up. There was 276, and the idea is now is to pay attention to my usage, what I do and don't like, what numbers are coming in, and all things like that. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of walk you through things every month and how I'm doing and my realizations and aims and things like that. I will say though, I have actually been invited to another project pan recently, which honestly looks amazing, and I was so tempted. But the lady that invited me, I'm not sure if she realises I'm part of the project panning group by the Fantastic Ladies. I don't use Facebook, so I'm not a member, so I don't know how that would pan out with the other ladies, whether they'd like that, me joining or not. And my biggest concern, honestly, was confusing all of you, because I worry that if I'm posting videos about Project Focus and then about project panning, if it would confuse you. The particular project I'm talking about was about panning eyeshadows, and it looks so much fun, and given the way I'm dealing with something else at the moment, which I've been toying with doing as a Project Focus, it would have fitted in quite nicely. So it was hard to turn it down, but I had to, because first and foremost I'm not part of the Fantastic Ladies group, so I don't know how that would work. So if it's something you would like to see me doing, then please do drop a comment in, and if you think that it'll be okay for me to join, then let me know, because it does look good and I think it would be really cool for me to join in with that particular project. Like I said before, I'm not going to rule out doing project panning anymore. There will be things that suit me. There will be things that won't. I just need to think carefully about whether I should or shouldn't join in the future. That's all I've taken from doing it last year. I just need to think more carefully about what might suit me and the way I am. And then we can do things positively rather than me struggling or feeling anxious about anything at all. So if I haven't mentioned already, not sure if I have or not, this is a year-long project, so this will be finishing in December of this year. It started last month. So let's see how I've been getting on. So I'll start off by sharing with you something I've done to help myself through this. So I have this box. This box has several items from my project that have come out of that big box that I showed you all of my items were put in originally. That's what it looks like inside. So a little explanation. In here is everything I need to do a full face of makeup with a couple of variations and choices. So yeah, and a couple of brushes that I'll use with some of the products. But there is a miniature setting spray, there will be a highlighter, there'll be a lip product, a bronzer, a brow product. There is enough in here to do a full face of makeup, so I'm focusing on these. There's probably about 4 options for my lips, so I'm not actually having to use one all of the time. There's like 4 items in here, and this is a choice thing. And I thought I'd give this a go to see how this works for me, if it helps me to get through things and use things up and drop my numbers, you know, because obviously the more I stick to certain things, the more I shift, and the more the numbers come down, the more it, you know, the easier it is to store. So that was a thought. So I thought I'd give this a go. I don't know if it's going to work, but so far I think it's okay. If you've got any other ideas as to how I get through things and make things work, then please do let me know. So yeah, that's worked quite nicely for me. So the first question is what have I purchased or gained throughout the month of January? So like I say, I started with 276 items. I have gained 6 items. One is technically a purchase. So we'll start with that one first, and then I'll show you the rest afterwards. So the first item is this. This is the Lord & Berry pencil in the shade Supreme Green. Now this came out of a Lip Monthly subscription. I decided to do 2 subscriptions that I'd been missing for the month of January. That's a whole nother story. I was meant to have cancelled some of my other ones because of it. I was meant to have made a decision to lose some, and I've taken so long to doing that I'm going to end up with February's boxes, unfortunately, or fortunately for me, I suppose, or fortunately for you. So yeah, I thought this was a lip liner because it came from Lip Monthly, and a lovely subscriber called Bella's Buggy Bags, I think it was, told me it's not a lip liner, it's actually a eyeliner, which would mean that this is actually the first eyeliner in my project. So yeah, that's a mini, it's not a full-size product, so that's going in. The other items, the other 5 items in front of me, they're all items that I found in my collection after starting the project. So as I pointed out when I did the intro, I had about 18 sets from NYX as a vault of lip products. So there was 18 liquid lipsticks and the matching lip liners. And when I was sorting out that box I've just shown you, there was a shade of lipstick that I wanted to put in there and I couldn't find the lip liner. So I decided to rake through my lovely collection and I found some more minis whilst I was at it. And I didn't find that lip liner, so yeah, I have another 5. So they're not things that I've accrued through buying things at all or anything like that. So we have the Tarte Big Ego mascara. We have a Lord and Berry lip liner in the shade Vintage Rose lip liner. We have a NYX lip liner. Yeah, so we have the NYX lip liner in Seattle. And then the last 2 items are lipsticks from Kat Von D. We have the shade Cathedral and Underage Red. So this is what the red looks like. Beautiful colour for Valentine's Day, maybe. And then we have this gorgeous colour. This is Cathedral. So next up, we need to talk about how many items I used up or I'm decluttering. So, as you know, I have issues with hoarding. If I like something, I have it in every colour. I hold on to things, I struggle to part with things, and this is something that focusing was going to help me to do. And it's a huge step for me. It's taken some real strength. But I've managed to come to the conclusion I needed to declutter a couple of things already in January. It's only 2 items, but I'm so happy that I've been strong enough to say, no, I do not need these. And I'm going to continue this throughout the year. There is another project that I'm thinking of doing, which will help me further. So I'm toying with it. I want 2020 to be a good year for decluttering and realisation and making my collection a bit more tailored to me. So let's start with the 2 items that I decluttered. The trouble with me is I always find a reason to keep something. Like I used an eyeshadow palette the other day. I thought I'd best give this a chance again. And I used it and I loved the matte shades in the palette, but the shimmer shades were rubbish. But I really liked the matte and I thought, oh, I'll just keep it because I like the matte ones. And then a little while later I was sat doing something else and I thought, no, I need to declutter that. I only like 50% of the palette. I haven't been using it. I'm not likely to with the sort of collection I've got. So it's going. And that was a really strong sort of thing for me to do. So the first item that I'm decluttering is this. This is the Pillow Plump Double XL Lip Gloss by Soap and Glory. I'm not quite sure how this came into my collection. I have had some Soap and Glory gift sets at Christmas, so I wonder if it's that. It's a Sexy Mother Pucker thing. And whilst it looked nice on, and once again, it will be a reason why I wanted to keep it, I didn't like the way it felt. So it appears to be a minty sort of thing, which is fine. But what I didn't like about that was every time you draw a breath, it's like you're breathing in cold air because of the mintiness, and I just couldn't get on with that. I didn't like that, so I thought, no, I'm not likely to wear this again. It needs to go. I used it once and it's like, no, I just can't go there with that again. It was just a really odd sensation and I just didn't like it. So it's going. The next item that's going in my declutter, it made me so sad to make this decision. It really did, because I've only just received it and I won this in a giveaway, and I'm so sorry that it's come to that. But this was in a giveaway that I won from Kate, K8SW, I think her channel's called. And it's the Sleek Makeup I Divine palette in All Night Long. And I love the colours and I love the way the shades are. It's just not practical, and it was such a hard decision. I used it twice. As you can see, I like that gold shade on the end. It's a bit messy there. I really liked it, but the pans are so tiny. I struggled to get my brush in. With the shimmers, I tend to use my fingers to put it on, and I can get my finger there, but you can see how big my fingers are. It's halfway across the next shade, so you can't physically move your finger in the pan. I tried that, didn't work, so then it was a case of I had to use a brush. I struggled to get a small enough brush to be able to pick up some product. So that's the reason why I'm decluttering it. It's with very sad heart, because it meant so much to me. I was so spoilt with that giveaway, and I feel so sad that I have to share with you that I'm decluttering this, but I know it's the right decision in my heart. I know I'm not going to use it, and if there's a chance that somebody else might be able to make use of it, then I think it's the best thing to do, rather than it sitting there doing nothing. So yeah, it's a very sad thing, but that has to go. So yeah, there's that. And then the items I finished, I know it's not much, it's only 2 items, but I last year didn't wear makeup enough, and I've got a really large collection, and I decided in my bullet journal this year I would put in the back a chart for when I wear makeup. So it's like a graph, and it's just got the numbers for the month and then the numbers of the day, and it's a tick box exercise. So I just tick off each day that I've put some on, just so that I can look back and see how I'm doing. So I've done it to help motivate myself to do better each month. So yeah, I didn't do too well this particular month. However, I did still manage to empty 2 things, and it was an improvement on the previous month, December, because I have 5 children, Christmas was coming, it was very busy, and so I was waking up, eating, having a wash, brushing my teeth, chucking clothes on and out the door. I didn't bother with any makeup at all in December. Very seldom did I wear makeup. So yeah, I'm quite pleased that I finished a couple of things, but I'm hoping to build on the numbers for February, so I wear makeup more days than I did in January. I want it to be a lot better. So yeah, it's just like a motivational thing that I've done. I've done a lot of that in my bullet journals this year. So yeah, the first item that I finished is the All Nighter Spray by Urban Decay. I really did like this. I'm sad it's gone. I don't have a full size one of this. When I eventually get through all of my setting sprays, which is going to take a very long time, I will probably purchase some more of this if it's still available. I really liked it. And then the other thing I finished is a favourite of mine. I know a lot of people don't like this, but this is the Professional Primer by Benefit. And this was the Pearl Primer. I got about three uses out of that. So yeah, I really did like it. And once again, I don't have a full-size product of this. It is expensive. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. So that's the 2 empties. So guys, I started with 276 items. And in January, I gained 6, which took me to 282. And then I lost 4 items, whether it was decluttered or used up, which leaves me now with 278. So overall, I've gained 2 items. So that's not too bad considering, I suppose. So in February, I do hope that I do a better job. I do hope that I manage to use more products. I'm not suggesting I'll have more empties, but I want to use the makeup more. So my aims for February would be, I think, to wear makeup more often and to probably have more empties or lose more than 4 items. That would be great. So if I can improve on the number that have come out of my collection in January for February, I think that would be a really, really good way to go. So the realisation for January is that it is very, very easy to accumulate things and just poke them in amongst spots you wouldn't have thought that you have poked them. So lesson learned, you need to allocate a space to put them all together so that you know where they are, so that you can use them. If you're not doing something like I am, I think it's a really good thing to perhaps find somewhere to keep all of that sort of thing so that you just know where they are, so that you actually do use them. So everyone, that was my update for the month of January. Let me know what makeup minis, samples and travel size products you've liked or hated in the month of January. Thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch my video, and I'll see you all again with update number 2 in February. Goodbye guys.